Who was George Washington? More than just the face on the dollar bill. He was a reluctant hero, a brilliant strategist, and the man who literally held the fate of a new nation in his hands. Today, we're peeling back the layers of history to uncover the real George Washington, the man behind the myth. We'll journey from his early days as a Virginia planter to his legendary command during the Revolutionary War, and finally to his role as the first president of the United States. This isn't just a history lesson. It's the story of how one person's decisions forged the America we know today. Let's start before the Revolution. In the fields of Virginia, George Washington was a successful planter, a man of the land. But his destiny was not confined to his estate at Mount Vernon. His early military career during the French and Indian War was a crucible, teaching him invaluable lessons about leadership, strategy, and survival. It was here that Washington first learned the harsh realities of command and the importance of resilience in the face of defeat. These experiences didn't just make him a soldier. They shaped him into the leader the Continental Army would desperately need. When the Second Continental Congress was looking for a commander-in-chief, they saw in Washington not just military experience, but a steadfast character and an unwavering commitment to the cause of liberty. It was a role he never sought, but one he accepted out of a profound sense of duty. The Revolutionary War was an uphill battle from the start. The Continental Army was a ragtag force of farmers and merchants. Facing the most powerful military on earth, defeat seemed inevitable. But Washington's genius wasn't just in battlefield tactics. It was in his ability to inspire hope against all odds. He understood that this war wouldn't be won in a single, glorious battle. Instead, he mastered the art of the strategic retreat, preserving his army to fight another day. Think about the brutal winter at Valley Forge. It wasn't a battle, but it was one of Washington's greatest victories. He held a starving, freezing army together through sheer force of will, transforming them into a disciplined fighting force. This resilience defined his leadership and kept the dream of independence alive. Washington was also a master of unconventional warfare. He knew he couldn't beat the British at their own game, so he changed the rules. Take the daring Christmas crossing of the Delaware River in 1776. It was a high-risk gamble that paid off spectacularly. The surprise attack on the Hessian forces at Trenton, followed by the victory at Princeton, completely reversed the momentum of the war. These weren't just military wins. They were powerful psychological blows to the British and a massive morale boost for the Americans. It showed everyone that the Continental Army was a force to be reckoned with. Washington proved that clever strategy and audacious leadership could triumph over superior numbers and resources. Behind the scenes, Washington was running one of history's most sophisticated intelligence operations. He understood that information was just as powerful as cannons and muskets. He established the Culper spy ring, a network of secret agents operating right under the noses of the British in New York City. These spies used invisible ink, complex codes, and dead drops to relay critical information about British troop movements and plans. This intelligence allowed Washington to anticipate enemy actions, avoid traps, and plan his counterattacks with precision. It was this hidden war of espionage, orchestrated by Washington, That gave the Continental Army a crucial edge and played a decisive role in securing American independence. With the war won, the fight for America's future was far from over. The new nation was fragile, a loose confederation of 13 states teetering on the brink of collapse. Once again, the country turned to Washington. He presided over the Constitutional Convention, a gathering of brilliant but often conflicting minds. His presence lent legitimacy to the proceedings, and his calming influence helped foster the compromises necessary to draft the Constitution. He wasn't the most vocal delegate, but his leadership was indispensable. He was the anchor that held the convention together, guiding it toward the creation of a strong, unified federal government. He was the steady hand the nation needed to navigate its most uncertain and formative period. Following the ratification of the Constitution, the choice for the first president was unanimous: George Washington. He accepted the role reluctantly, famously comparing his feelings to those of a condemned man on his way to his execution. He wasn't seeking power. He was answering a call to duty. As president, everything he did set a precedent, from creating the first cabinet to delivering the first State of the Union address. He was literally defining the role of the American presidency. He navigated the nation through internal rebellions and complex foreign policy challenges, always striving to promote national unity over the growing partisan divisions between Federalists and Democratic Republicans. One of the most defining moments of Washington's leadership came not in a battle, but in a quiet decision. After 2 terms as president, he chose to step down. In a world dominated by kings and lifetime rulers, this act was revolutionary. By voluntarily relinquishing power, Washington established the principle of a peaceful transfer of authority, a cornerstone of American democracy. His farewell address is a timeless document, warning against the dangers of political factions and foreign entanglements. It was his final lesson in leadership, that true strength lies not in holding onto power, but in knowing when to let it go for the good of the nation. So what is the ultimate legacy of George Washington? He is rightly called the father of his country. He was the military leader who won our independence, the statesman who guided the creation of our government, and the president who set the standard for all who would follow. But his legacy is also complex. He was a man of his time, and we must acknowledge all facets of his life, including the difficult and controversial aspects. Yet, his contributions are undeniable. He was the indispensable man, the reluctant leader whose humility, sense of duty, and unwavering commitment to the American experiment changed the course of history. His leadership is a lesson that continues to resonate today, reminding us of the power of unity, resilience, and principled service. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the life of George Washington. If you found this interesting and want to explore more stories that shaped our world, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what historical figure you'd like to see us cover next. See you in the next video.